when I first started out, 17 years old, I was the youngest sales manager for a company called Delta Sonic. They're the biggest car wash in the world. Then I went to, when I was in door-to-door insurance sales, I became one of their top agents and then became a manager. I was, one of my record weeks was I sold $10,000 of insurance in a week, annualized premiums in a week. The target for them at that time was $3,000 is a silver winner score, $5,000 is a gold winner score. I sold a titanium winner score. I still have the silver goblets at home for, for selling that much. I also got their top award, which is a grand diamond. There's different levels that you can get at the insurance company, which is selling $25,000 of annualized premiums within 6 weeks. Right now, I am the area manager for Regis, like I said. I've sold, I've been in charge of 7 centers in 4 different cities and 2 different states. And out of the 7 centers that I've run, I've gotten 4 of them 100% full. So we've been very successful here in Cincinnati. Actually, just in February, out of 341 area managers, I was actually number 5 in North America. And little old Cincinnati, Ohio was number 3. So the concepts that I use in my business is exactly what I'm going to show you here now to be able to close a sale and get you more deals. And what does it mean to close a sale? What does that mean to everybody? Oh, participation is welcome too. So feel free to jump in. Does everybody feel like in their business they have to close somebody?
Yeah.
And why is that?
Money.
Business, that's
Okay. What are some of the benefits for asking somebody for the money, for asking to actually close, quote unquote, close somebody on the sale?
You eat.
You eat, right? You get money for it. Anything else?
Satisfaction.
Satisfaction. Yeah, that's it for me. It's the having somebody sign the dotted line. Anything else?
Find a solution for the client.
Okay. And then see what people don't realize is people buy what they want. They have to be sold what they need. Okay, think about that. People buy what they want, have to be sold what they need. Most people will go out and spend hundreds of dollars on a vacation or on a personal item or something like that. That is just something that they might throw money away. Where the product that you have is going to solve a problem for them. That more or less they're shopping. They're going to see other people, throughout, and they're going to do their due diligence. It's going to be the person that actually closes them on the sale that's the one that's going to get the business. Because if you don't do it, they're going to go across the street. The person's going to ask for the money across the street and then be able to win that sale from them. Most of it's about people buying from the person that's hits certain hot buttons for them. So when it comes to closing, okay, so you just give your most enthusiastic presentation of your life, and the prospect says no. Okay, so what do? You pack up all your stuff and just walk out the door? What's the next step? Now, when somebody tells you no, everybody do this right now. If you have a pen and paper, write down the word no, K-N-O-W. Look at that word. How many no's are in the word K-N-O-W? Look at the word. How many are in there? 2. Okay? There's a K-N-O-W and there's an N-O right in the middle. So when somebody says no to you, what are they really telling you? Are they telling you, no, get out of my house, or no, I'm not taking your product? Are they telling you, I don't know enough about your product? I don't know enough about you. I don't know enough about your company to be able to say, yeah, sure, I'll sign right now. Let me pull my checkbook out or get my credit card out. So which one is it? So a lot of the times when somebody tells you no, it might just be they need some more information about you. So that's what closing somebody does. It's giving them more information for you to be able to get closer to them signing on the dotted line. Because all in all, that's the end result, right? That's the result we're looking for. So a small percentage of people actually say yes the first time. And the first 3 no's that somebody gives you are false objections. And that's not really the reason that they're not buying from you right this second. Okay? So if you have that in the back of your mind, that the first 3 things they're telling you just aren't the real reason. That's the reason it's important to close somebody. Because now you're digging down and finding out what the real reason is. All right? So, but if somebody comes to you and tells you no, 2 or 3 times, the same kind of no. You know, oh, I gotta think about it, I need to talk to my wife about it, I'm not making a decision right now, I'm doing my shopping. Or if it's flip-flopping, or it's, I don't have the money, or I gotta think about it, or, I'm just not sure, or they're wishy-washy about it. So you really have to listen to what the prospect's telling you. Most sales is just listening to what the prospect's telling you. Listening to what the prospect is, trying to convey to you, because they're giving you all the answers right there. How many people here do some kind of needs assessment with the client? Actually ask them, questions to find out exactly what they're looking for. Okay? There's different parts of your sales presentation that are going to get you closer to this. We're at the end of the whole sales process with this. Okay? If you get to the end of this and the prospect rather doesn't, I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. So when it comes down to somebody that you're in front of, it's a law of averages. How many people have ever heard of that before? Law of averages. It's kind of like a batter up at bat for baseball, taking 100 swings. If somebody, no matter how the pitches come, if they just swing randomly 100 times, law of averages is going to say they're going to hit the ball at least a couple times out of 100. Okay. Same thing with people coming to see you. If you're not a strong closer, you just got to see more people, because sooner or later you're going to run into somebody that says, "Yeah, sure, I'll take it, not a problem." So, what in your business, if you're keeping track of your numbers, you can figure out what your batting average is. It might be that it takes. Back when I was in the insurance company, they always just said, if you see 5 people a day, get 5 presentations, one's going to be a definite yes. They're going to be a laydown. They're going to be like, "Yep, sure, I'll take it." 2 is going to be a definite no, which even then is kind of, here or there. But 3 of them are going to be maybes. Those 3 of them are the ones that if you close them, you're going to be able to win that sale over. So this is what I'm trying to get across here is people, some people will buy just because of the enthusiastic presentation, just because they like it, just because everything you said fits exactly with what they say. Some people won't buy no matter what. For whatever reason, it's not for them. And then other people can go their way. Those are the ones you have to close. Now, there's 4 reasons that somebody will not buy for you. That's whether there is no need, no trust, no money, no hurry. Write that down. There's 4 reasons that somebody's not going to buy from you. It's whether there's no need, where if you do a needs assessment with them, this shouldn't be effective. This should solve that problem right there. When I do my needs assessment with people, I'm right to the point to figure out, do they fit with us? Do they have money? Do they, if I'm giving them a certain product, whittling it down to see which product actually works best for them. No trust. I mean, if you're giving a presentation, and for some reason they hang you up on something. If you lose trust with your client, you're not going to close them no matter what the price, no matter what the deal, no matter what it is. That's a huge one, is no trust. No money, and then no hurry. Those are the 2 that where closing comes in. No money. Somebody says, it's too much money. Like I said before, some people have to buy what they want, have to be sold what they need. So if it's important to them, it's going to help their business, they'll find the money to be able to do it. So don't take that as okay, I'm going to write you off. Unless it's a $1,000 product and you only have a $100 budget. So, and then no hurry. This is a huge one. This is the reason that a lot of people don't buy. Now, hurry means that there's no sense of urgency. It's, you're not creating any kind of urgency for somebody to be able to buy today. Now, if you don't make somebody feel uncomfortable in the situation they're in right now, they're never going to buy it. No matter what the product is, no matter how great it is, no matter how cheap it is. When I sold life insurance, life insurance you got to qualify for. It's not everybody can get it. All depends on what your products are. How many people are salespeople here? What do you sell?
I sell mainly property and casualty insurance,
Okay.
Home, auto, business, life.
So with insurance, it's all about buying it before something happens. We never know when it's going to happen. If we all knew when it was going to happen, we'd buy the policy the day before, right? So, what do you sell, sir?
Financial services, money.
Money, okay. So it's all about making sure that you have everything invested before they retire or something, or become, making sure that just in case something happens, they have that nested, correct? What do you sell?
Fitness studio membership.
Okay.
And more marketing and what our deals are.
Okay, so it's never too soon to start to get more healthy for yourself, correct? So, and it's all about getting healthy before something happens. And affordable, right? What do you sell, sir?
Real estate.
Okay, so we're in the same kind of deal. You know, it's all about having, you create an urgency for somebody because it's here until it's not here anymore. You know, you have that perfect house. It's perfect doing the walkthrough, and people are like, I'm gonna wait on it. I'm gonna wait on it, and all of a sudden, especially in the Cincinnati market, man, if it's on the market for more than a week, there's something wrong with it. Everybody in town's seen it. But it's these different kind of things to be able to create urgency so that somebody is like, okay, I have to take it right now. It's because here's the reason too. You've given this huge presentation to somebody. Okay, you put all this life and fire in your presentation. You've given the most enthusiastic presentation of your life. What happens when that customer walks out the door? What happens to all that life and fire that was created? How much are they going to remember from what you told them to what they're going to go home and tell their wife or spouse or whoever, you know, at home? They're going to remember what? 10%, maybe. It's more like 5% actually. So that's why it's important that while you have all this created, you're putting all this emotion, all this effort, all this into your presentation, that you're able to sit down and say, let's do this today. Now, let me say something else too. When I'm talking about closing, I'm not talking about hard closing somebody. I'm not talking about, you're hammering them down until finally they're like, okay, fine, I'll buy it. Closing can be something as simple as just asking. My son is 6 years old. One of the things I've taught him is always ask. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? What's the worst that can happen is that you're going to be in the same exact position you're in now. But you know what? You might get exactly what you asked for if you ask for it. Okay? That's a great life lesson. We've gotten a bunch of different things just because we walked up and asked if we could have it. So keep that in mind too. Now, one of the biggest things that most people don't do is you'll go through the entire presentation, you get to the end, and you don't ask somebody for the money. You don't ask them, hey, can we do this today? How do you feel about this? Which one works best for you? There's a bunch of different kind of closes you can do, and we'll go over those. But one of the things is just ask. So what do you think? Can we sign you up for this today? Does it fit in your budget? Does it work? Which one works best for you? Just ask for the money. That's the biggest thing that most people miss. They'll go through the entire presentation, they'll sit there, and someone will be like, okay, great, no problem, we'll walk out the door. He'd never even asked them. That's the simplest one you can do. This is the number one thing that most people miss out on. Now there's a variety of different kind of closes. I mean, you can get creative, you can get, really fancy with them. What I used to do in the insurance company is we used to have ones we used to memorize. Because if you can have a close in the back of your head that's, comes off automatic, okay? Think of like an actor with a script. I say this all the time when I do these presentations. My presentation I can do in my sleep. I say the same presentation to every single person. The prospect coming in doesn't realize that it's the same presentation that I just told somebody 10 minutes ago, but I can put life and fire into it. I can put humor into it. I can do all these different things in my presentation because I can do it in my sleep. Same thing with closing. It should come out natural. It should come out just like you're having a conversation with somebody. It shouldn't seem forced. It shouldn't be like you're trying to, find the words in your head. Think of an actor. When an actor gets a script and they're sitting down for the first time reading that script, is that Oscar-winning performance the first time they read it? No? So it's the same thing here. They have to read through it. They have to memorize it. They have to put their own actions into it, put their own life and fire into it to make sure to have it come out to the finished product. Okay? Same thing for your presentation. This is your livelihood. Same as an actor, it's their livelihood too. You should have your presentation, whatever it is, down to a science. Now, when it comes to the end of when you're trying to close somebody, it should be the same thing. It should be something that's, just rolls off your tongue, and it's just a conversation with somebody. And there's certain pieces to it. Now, when it comes to the different kind of closes, choice closes is what most people do. You got 3 choices in front of you. It's which one works best for you. It's easy as that. Which one works best for you? And it's kind of like a tennis match. You're hitting the ball out to them, and now the ball's in their court. And then you got to wait for somebody to have it come back to you. So depending on what they say. Punch close. Can I sign this up for you? Can we write this today? Can we? It's just something short and simple. Special features close. This is the one that I like to use. It's a little more romantic. Goes in the going back into the presentation. I wouldn't expect you to sign up for this today unless you can see where it was worthwhile. It does have many fantastic features. Take for example, like a fully furnished office. Utilities are included. You don't have to worry about paying for furniture. It also has business-grade internet included in the price of the office. Now, after seeing a product like this, most of my customers believe it's one of the best decisions they've ever made in their life. I believe so too, don't you? So can we sign you up for this? Can we sign this? So it's a little more romantic. Assumptive close. This is one that's huge. It's assuming that the customer is going to take it. Okay. It's used all the time. When you go think about when you're buying a car. What's the first thing they want to do when you go buy a car? Get behind the wheel. And why is that? You want to wrap your fingers around that steering wheel and you want to take ownership of it. How many people are married here? When you went to go buy your wedding dress, what was the first thing they wanted to do when you walked into the shop?
I wanted to be beautiful.
Let's try some on. Yes. let's put you in that. Same thing when you go buy a suit. A lot of times I've bought a suit and I'm at Men's Warehouse, I'm standing up there and I'm looking at myself in the mirror. And then I'm looking at what I came in, and it's that whole, you're taking ownership of it. So they want to put you into it. That's going to something, assuming that the customer is going to purchase it. When you go around and showing people the gym, and you're taking them into each part, it's having them be able to step up on the machine, or touch a piece of equipment, or if it's walking them through the house, and having them picture where everything's going to be, having them think about what their retirement's going to be like. It's having them be able to go through their mind on exactly what your product is going to do for them, and having them sit there. For me, it's having somebody sit in the office. That's the most important part. Even with my team, I tell them, have them go in the office, have them sit in the chair. And you'll see people, as soon as they sit down, they're looking around. And they're like, I'm going to put a picture there, and I'm going to move the file cabinet over here, I'm going to move the desk this way, and I'm going to, now they're taking ownership of it. And when you go something with somebody, let them go through that process. Sit back and let them think. And then third-party articles is a great one too. This is something I used to use in the insurance company all the time. A lot of people believe more evidence from someplace else, not just what you're saying, but something that is, an article that's written in the paper. I used to have disability statistics in my pocket, so if it's like, if I was going to something with somebody and filling out an application, I tell them, let me share some information with you real quick, and I pull out an article, and go through some disability statistics and tell them, why don't you look this over while I get some more information from you, and I go something on the application itself. So it is a great tool. Listen to what the customer tells you. Once you hear the same objection 3 times, then pack up and go. But once again, you have to listen to what the customer is telling you. It's that same KNOW. Which one is it? Is it no, I'm not buying anything, or is it, I need some more information from you? So you have to figure out exactly which piece it is. When you're given your whatever product it is you're selling, whatever widget you're selling, don't give any more than 3 choices to somebody. So if it's a fitness package, if it's if it's a package if it's an insurance package, or if it's a financial package, any more than 3 choices, somebody's really got to think about it. It's way too much. It's overwhelming. So for me, I've got 78 offices over in Kenwood, over here. Okay, I'm not going to show somebody all these different offices. Okay, I'm going to give them 2, maybe 3 choices, all depending on what they told me during the needs assessment. Okay, you're the professional in this. You're the one that is, the reason they're coming to you is because they don't know. You're the professional in this, so when you're giving them these options, there might be 1,000 other options for them. But you need to whittle it down so that they can sit and they can be like, okay, A, B, or C. Which one works best for me? And then most people should be able to make a decision if they're not giving too much. Does that make sense? If you're still with me, say aye. Okay, good. And if you expect no from the start, you'll never be taken off guard. Okay? When one of the managers at the insurance company always used to say that he always had a close in the back of his head, because as he's with the prospect right at the end of the presentation, ask them which one works best for you, he's expecting them to say no to it. So the no's are going to be 2 things. Think about it. And what if really somebody going to tell you? I can't afford it, or I want to think about it. You agree with that? Those are usually the two main objections that somebody's going to get. So if you can have a close for either one of them, it's not money that qualifies you, it's your good health. It's not, or I really got to think about it. Okay, well listen, it's fine, you can think about it, but the house could be gone tomorrow. There's a lot of people looking at the same place. It's creating that urgency, okay, to make them buy now. So if you could come up with a close for yourself that covers those two bases, and you have it in the back of your head, so when they say, yeah, I really want to think about it, you're on it. It comes out, it's fluent, and it makes sense to somebody. Now there's actually breakdowns of how to close somebody, of the presentation for a close. And we're gonna get into that right now, of exactly when to start, how to finish, and what goes in between. So there's a 5-point response system. When I was in the insurance company, there's a gentleman named W. Clement Stone. Now, W. Clement Stone, have you ever heard the book Think and Grow Rich? Napoleon Hill. So W. Clement Stone helped Napoleon Hill, writes a book called Success Through a Positive Mental Attitude. They're all about positive mental attitude at the insurance company because it affects everything. I just went to Tony Robbins in November to his Unleash the Power Within. And one of the biggest things I've takeaways from that experience was that your emotions control everything. Think about that. Your emotions control everything. How many people here have ever had a bad day and it's just gone downhill? You wake up on the wrong side of the bed, all of a sudden you're hitting every red light coming into work, you're late, and all of a sudden you spill coffee, and it just tumbles from there. So what we learned was how to change you can change your emotions like this. You can snap back into a positive state at any time you want. You just have to go clear your mind and realize it's there. So the 5-point response system is literally a breakdown of how to close somebody. So the first one is sweep your prospect off their feet verbally. When somebody says no to you, no, I can't afford it. What's the first thing that they're going to expect you to say? What do you mean you can't afford it? Okay. So if you sweep them off their feet verbally, you'll be saying something positive that goes into the close. So I wouldn't expect you to start this plan if you didn't see where it was worthwhile. I'm glad you said that. It's not money that qualifies you, it's your good health. There's any kind of statement you can use to be able to sweep them off at their feet and then have them listen to what you're saying. Okay, and it's not combative. Give a logical explanation. And actually, the next slides go into each one of these, so I'll just go through these real quick. Make an agreeable, positive statement, ask an affirmative questions, and close and stay closed. Now, the prospect says, I can't afford it, or I want to think about it. They're expecting you to say, sure you can, or what's there to think about? Sweep off their feet verbally, saying a positive statement that they were not expecting, like, whatever you decide is perfectly all right, or I totally understand where you're coming from. Okay, right there it's going to pique their interest because they're expecting you to say something totally different. This whole closing process is just having them be engaged with you. That's the most important part. Okay, because as soon as somebody shuts down, they're done. Okay. Give a logical explanation. Say something that relates to the process of objection. Most of my clients have some kind of insurance in place, or some place they can work from, but at Regis, they can get away from the distractions, they can concentrate on their work. So that is taking their objection and putting a spin on it. Listen, there's a lot of places out there that you can work from, that you can even work from home. It's the cheapest way to do it, but listen, there's gonna be a lot of distractions, and that's the reason you're here, right? So, and then make a statement they can agree with. Earlier you mentioned that so-and-so is important. Isn't that correct? Something that at the end of it, you'd be like, wouldn't you agree? And that'll get them to say yes. Now, during your presentation, you should get it, by the end of this, once again, we're at the end of the whole sales process, but you should be test closing them throughout the entire presentation. You should be asking them questions like, isn't this great? Isn't this fantastic? To get them in this yes frame of mind, so when you're at the end of the presentation, you don't have to close them hard. You can just ask them. Everything we said here today is exactly what you're looking for. Isn't that true? Yeah, that is true. Okay, well, great. Then we signed this up for you today. Getting them that yes frame of mind, so they say yes at the end. Ask a question that relates to the client. Say yes. Wouldn't you agree? Isn't that right? Isn't that great? I'm saying this through my entire presentation. I've even probably said it about 20 times here. I was doing this presentation. So any one of these statements is a great way to be able to get them into that yes frame of mind. And then close and stay closed. Ask the client to make a choice. Now this is the biggest one that most people miss, is because we're salespeople, we like to talk, right? So a lot of the times we talk our way out of a presentation. I've been, when I was in the insurance company, I used to manage a team. I don't know how many times I'm kicking agents under the table, telling them, shut up. Customer's thinking, shut up, don't talk. When somebody's looking at whatever choices you're giving them, they're trying to concentrate on, is this right for me? Is this a good fit? Can I afford this? You know, they're going through this entire process. So if I'm across from them, asking them which one works best for you, and I keep on interrupting them, it breaks their concentration. And you do it enough times, they're gonna be like, I gotta think about this. I can't do this right now. Okay? As soon as you do that, then you lost it. Okay? When I talk about going assumptive on people and bringing them into an office and having them sit down and they're looking around and they're sitting back, I've trained multiple agents for Regis in a variety of different states. And one biggest thing I tell them is when they're thinking, when they're looking around, when they're placing everything where they want it, shut up. It's the biggest thing that most people do is they want to talk. They want to get everything in while they're sitting there. Just shut up, sit back, let them think, and then once they're ready, they'll look at you. And you'll know that's when you can pick up again. Okay? So whenever they're looking at whatever price you're giving them or whatever option you're giving them, sit back and relax. So here's a bunch of close and stay close type of finishes for your close that you're creating for yourself. Which plan works best for you? That's a choice of close. Can I write this for you? Punch close. I wouldn't expect you to take this product, but let's just see where it's worthwhile. That's your special features. Why don't you look this over while I get some more information from you? Let's go to something on it. And then let me share some info with you, and that's be a third-party article. So each one of these, as soon as you say it, that's when you sit back and you relax and let them think about exactly what they're looking at. And then when you ask for the money, always use a pen or something. What I'll usually do is, what I used to do in the insurance companies, I always had a pen in my hand. Everything was paper, so we used to do the bouncing ball. So I'm reading through the entire presentation and having people follow along. If you're doing a presentation, I always like to use a pointer so people can keep track of where you are. Nobody's searching for anything. But when you're showing somebody, okay, option A, option B, option C, which one works best for you? You're keeping their attention on the paper, and exactly with whatever product works best. I usually show the most expensive one and keep my finger there because that's the one that works best for me, and it might work best for them. So, and then once again, it's the biggest thing is just sit back and relax and then let them think. And the person that speaks first loses. This is one of the things. My old manager over at the insurance company sold insurance door to door for 30 years. And this is one of the things that he installed in me was the person that speaks first loses. What that means is if they're thinking about it, let them think, let them be the first one to talk. Because as soon as you interrupt their conversation, that breaks their concentration, like I've been saying. A little story, he told me about a town over in Buffalo, New York, one of these suburb country towns that he walked into, snowing, like sideways. He's looking for this one house to go collect a premium from somebody. He walks into the house, went through the entire presentation with the guy, sat down and asked him which one works best for you, and just sat back. And they watched MASH for half hour, an hour, whatever it was. And at the end of the show, the guy goes, okay, I'll take that one right there. So they literally sat back for that amount of time. Now that's to the extreme, but once again, it goes along with that principle. The guy he was going to watch his show no matter what, and then made a decision at the end of it. So, but that's it. That's the nuts and bolts to closing a sale. Does anybody have any questions?
The choice option, sometimes that opens up the next objection is, well, which one, what do you think I should choose? Like, kind of choose it for me. And if they're so drastically different, how do you typically handle that?
Well, it depends on, they shouldn't be drastically different by the end.
Okay.
Your needs assessment should be able to whittle down exactly what the client wants so that you should have 3 light choices by the end of what it is. For myself, I've got 3 different products I sell. I sell virtual offices, I sell Business World, which is kind of a membership, so we can use an office a couple times a month, then I got full-time office space. So as I'm going through my needs assessment, I'm figuring out which one of these 3 products am I gonna sell? What fits their needs best? And fits their budget best? Because I'm asking them those questions right at the beginning. So if they got a $100 budget, I'm not showing them full-time office space. I'm gonna show them a membership or virtual office. If they need 24-hour access and they've got a considerable, budget to be able to spend, a realistic budget, then I'm gonna show them office space. So it's not gonna be that drastic difference. I'm not showing somebody a virtual office and an office because that's on 2 totally separate ends of the spectrum. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So when you're going through your sales process, when you're going through your needs assessment, doing the presentation and everything, you should be able to whittle that down to 3 light choices to be like, which one works best for you. And if they ask you, it's because they're trusting you as a professional.
Right.
Think of that too. So you've already got over some of those hurdles of why they wouldn't buy from you. So it all depends on what product do you sell.
Marketing, but I've used that I've been in media sales before and had that sometimes coming back and bite you of like, well, why are you offering me 2 in the first place? Aren't you the expert that should just be giving me 1?
Yep.
So.
It all depends on your client.
Yeah.
Some people don't want to be totally hands off, and that's fine. Okay, no problem. Let me work this out for you. Exactly what you need. Most people want to be in control, and they want to have, they want the options presented in front of them in a way that they can make the decision. So it all depends on the prospect you're looking for. Anybody else?
You can also use the good, better, best concept
Yep.
under the choice category.
Yep. So I used to have a manager that was under me of the insurance company. Used to do the bronze, silver, and gold package. And then the bronze package, you get this. Silver, you get this a little more. Gold, you get this. So which level of service works best for you? She was very successful. One of the top agents. So it all, that is another great way to be able to present something. To this is your value, this is your next step up, and this is the premium. Which one works best? What benefits do you want?
What are you saying when they say I can't afford it?
It depends. What kind of product do you sell?
Jewelry.
Okay. So there should be. I'm sure in jewelry there's steps. So you've got the premium down to the
We're a
low.
little different than what you said, but yeah, we could do 3.
Yeah. So I mean, when it comes down
to
to
hear some other things outside the jewelry industry. What do you say?
well, when it comes to jewelry, I mean that's one of those. It all depends on what fits them best. So what are some of the questions you ask them in the beginning?
I try to ask them what's your magic number.
Okay.
So I don't. But then you always show us something.
Sure.
That's sort of irresistible.
Yep.
And often that's what gets.
Yeah, so I mean, but once again, that's kind of the good, better, best type of analysis where you got something that's a value, you got something that's in their range, and then you show them the Cadillac, and then depending on what looks best for them, then they shouldn't, by the end of it, I mean, if you're giving them that good, better, best presentation, there should be something that fits in their budget that they gave you in there.
But if they say I can't afford it, people like to come and look.
Mm-hmm.
But we're taught that if they walk in the door, they're really there to buy.
Sure, somebody doesn't walk onto the lot unless they want to buy, right?
Most people don't walk out
Yep.
without something, but I'm just curious.
Yep. So, do you have them tried out?
Sometimes I send 3 things home with them.
Oh, really?
Depending who they are, yeah. And
Okay.
bring 2 back, and sometimes all 3 stay on.
So once again, this is going to something about them. You want them to try it on and have them see what it looks like on their hand, or however it is, whatever kind of. I'm thinking rings, I'm thinking jewelry. But you have them try it on, and you're having them take ownership of it, and then you're having them take it off. A good way that you might want to do is it's kind of a takeaway. Okay, well this one's probably not going to work for you. A lot of times, if you take something away from somebody, they want it even more. Okay, so when I'm showing offices to somebody, I'll have them sit in the office and be like, okay, let's go back to the conference room. So now I'm taking that. Now that they sat down and they looked at everything and they're thinking where they're going to put everything. I'm taking them out of the situation, where they want to be.
That's good.
So,
That's good.
but yeah, have them try it on. Have them fill a couple pieces out and then be like, which one of these works best for you. And then if it's one they're like, wishy-washy, but take it. Okay, no problem. We'll put this one back in the cabinet. We'll take this one right off the table for you. Now you got these 2 to choose from. And most of the times, that one you take off is the one they're thinking, that's the one I really
Don't take
want.
that away.
Yeah.
Question, you said there's 2 versions of no, so somebody said no or I'm good. I'm curious, what you call the question for that?
Well, if they're saying, if they say I'm good, nah, it's okay, I'm really not interested, or if it's like a hard no, nah, I'm good. To me, that's, okay, that's a no, NO. But if somebody says, I'm not sure about it, I really want to think about it, I want to talk to my wife about it, that's a KNOW. They need a little more information to be able to get them over the line.
So you say what's holding you back, you can think of that, or?
You can. I mean, once again, the first 3 objections somebody gives you are going to be false objections. So if they say, nah, I'm good, you can, probe a little bit more. But what's holding you back? So what is what I showed you exactly what you're looking for? Earlier you said that you're looking for these things here. Now, I thought that when we were going through the presentation that we were covering all these bases for you. Is that true? Well, then with that in mind, which one of these works best for you? So it all depends on how, if they say no again, if they say no a 3rd time, it's all the same no. Nah, I told you, I'm good. Nah, I'm really not interested. Then fine, okay, then pack your stuff up and go. You're not going to sell everybody. That's one of the other things. There's going to be those people that just, no matter what you tell them, no matter how perfect it is, no matter how cheap it is, they're just not going to buy. So don't waste your time. That's another thing I really have to tell new agents too, or new area managers, is that I don't waste my time, because if this person's not going to buy it, then I'm going to get somebody that walks through the door, today or tomorrow, that's going to buy the same product for maybe even more money. So I kill more leads out than hold on to them in a way. So chasing people is the thing that I hate most. That's the reason I close so hard during my presentation, to make sure that I'm getting everything out. Because once again, as soon as they walk out that door, then everything's gone. Any other questions? Okay, thanks guys. Appreciate your time.
Got a couple of First Watch gift cards. Throw in some business cards if you got them. Can't like Greg, you don't mind some.